What up, nerds? My name is Nikki, and I'm just a hero for fun. Can we talk, just for a moment, about one? For those of you who aren't Animus, good on you, probably safer this way. Here's the long short of it. One is the pen name of the manga artist creator of One Punch Man, the story of a superhero so powerful that he can defeat any enemy he comes across in, you guessed it, one punch. The conflict of the story? Now he's bored. Seems like a lackluster concept, and yet this ended up being one of the hottest anime of fall 2015. I mean, seriously, this thing was up for an Eisner Award, and that's a big deal in America, and One Punch Man isn't even American. Now, there's so much to talk about in these shows, from the tropes they explore to the masterful handling of humor, but let's focus on one thing first. How one made the most boring protagonist on the planet, and somehow nobody noticed. Put Saitama, One Punch Man himself, in a room alone, and he's not that interesting. He's really not. Just imagine if the entirety of the show were the opening scenes where he's watching the news. The news would be the interesting part of that show. That right there, not exciting. Not something I'd queue up on Hulu, if you know what I'm saying. Now, it can be said that's exactly those characteristics that make him endearing, but that's not entirely true. Yes, it's his character that makes the show interesting, but not on its own. No, in order to make a boring protagonist interesting, you have to have something else, and we're gonna get to that, but first, I'm gonna tell some jokes. I'm gonna have my brother Sean here help me out. You ready? I'm sorry that you're too tall for the frame.
Sucks.
I know. Bye then.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, man. Hey, Sean!
What?
What's worse than finding a worm in your apple?
What?
Cancer.
It's not very funny.
You're not very funny. Hey, Sean!
What?
Why did the boy drop his ice cream?
Why?
Because he was hit by a bus.
That poor child.
Hey, Sean!
What?
What smells like blue paint?
What?
Red paint.
Okay. That wasn't funny.
I gotcha.
No.
Yeah, I did. I got him. Howdy, Sean!
Woo! I didn't know what to do.
Hey, Sean!
What?
What's green and has wheels?
What?
Grass. I lied about the wheels.
You need to get more jokes.
Okay. Hey, Sean!
What?
How do you confuse a blonde?
How?
You paint yourself green and throw forks at her.
I mean, I guess that would work.
Yeah. That would confuse a blonde, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean!
What?
Why was 6 afraid of 7?
Why?
It wasn't. They're numbers. They're not sentient. They can't feel fear.
Okay.
Hey, Sean!
Okay.
Please leave. Those, my friends, were a couple of examples of anti-humor, which I think is most accurately described as the art of tripping you up, of not meeting your expectations. You laughed at those jokes, if you laughed at those jokes, because you fell for it. You were tricked. You thought it was going to go one way, and then it went in a completely opposite direction. Real quick, if you want to see anti-humor at its best, I suggest you do a little bit of research on a comedian known as Andy Kaufman. His claim to fame was his sheer mastery at trolling his audience. I'm not going to say anything else about him, but I will link one of his performances down in the description, so check him out. He's so funny. So those of you who have already watched One Punch Man already kind of know what I'm getting at, probably. One Punch Man is anti-humor. The entire show is based around taking your expectations and playing with them. When you sit down to watch a superhero show, you think you're going to encounter a protagonist with an interesting backstory, struggle, personality, power, whatever you can think of. But as I said before, Saitama is literally none of these things. He doesn't have an interesting personality. When he's not out one-punching everybody, he's just sitting around and watching TV, not unlike the rest of us. He doesn't have an interesting power. He doesn't have cool sword. He doesn't shapeshift. He doesn't pew pew laser anything, you know, Star Wars. No, he hand. He has hand, it fist, and punch, and done. He doesn't even have an interesting conflict. He doesn't even have a conflict. Whenever he enters a fight, it's over so fast it doesn't even technically start. I mean, just literally one punch. Oh, I see what he did there. Even saying this out loud, this sounds like the most boring show ever. The characters in the show are constantly like, is this guy for real? But it's so funny, because even though from the get-go we know that nothing interesting is going to happen, at least to the main character, we keep thinking that it will, we keep getting let down, and we love every minute of it. That's all I've got for today. Remember to check out that Andy Kaufman performance that I mentioned earlier in the video down below, and as long as you're in the description, consider wasting your time on some of those other links. And don't forget that you have a great God and He is with you every step that you take. Till next time, nerds.